This is a cakewalk. I will be on the play. Two-player draw.
That's why I'm saying so.
I'll try it.
What happens to that weapon? Does it go with it?
I know this is really bad against you. I know that's really good against you.
Yeah.
Can you play things up for me?
Yeah, that's true.
Oop. Did we get it? Did we get it? Is it fixed? Ah, there we go.
Nice. All right, so everybody can hear us now? Question mark? There we go. Sweet.
There we go.
All right. Well, we have already started. We've got Michael Belfatto on Red Black Eldrazi versus John on Grixis Shadow. You got me, Kyle Palmer, and Luke here.
Yep. Hello, everybody.
Doesn't look like Lillian's here yet, but we did end up getting Justin to play some 8-rack. But he conveniently got the bye round 1. So that was lucky.
Yep. Off to a good start. Cat Nabis for the 4th month in a row. Thank you for the sub.
Thanks for the sub, bud.
Evening to you too.
So looks like we just got some discard spells all around over there.
Just discard back and forth.
I mean, it might not be 8-rack, but it looks like 8-rack.
Vladimus also subbed earlier. Thank you for the sub, Vladimus, if you're in chat still.
And Addicted Mints, thanks for the follow.
What is that? Eldrazi and Belfatto? Is this one of the...
I think that's Blight Herder. I think that's the 5-mana one. It's the one where you exile a card from opponent's... Or you ingest a card.
Yeah, it's the one of the processors.
Processor card, not ingest.
Well,
And then you get 3 1/1s. 2 cards.
I don't think it has like... Yeah, it doesn't have like an actual mechanic. It's just called...
Yeah.
Or they're just called processors. Where they have this effect when you exile a card. Or you remove it from exile.
Oh, quite a weird mechanic. Eldrazi's quite a weird creature, though, so it's fitting.
Mm. Well, it's supposed to be like thematically because they're like from outside of the universe, or so they're like putting stuff from outside of the universe back into the universe, kind of thing.
Makes sense, kind of.
I can live without being called Bud.
Oh yeah, sorry about that, Cat Nabis. It's kind of just my go-to pronoun for people is Bud, but yeah, I can see how you get that a lot with the name.
She also streams. Oh, we'll have to check you out sometime then. Adam Olds, you might have yourself a lady there. Hi, Lump Lump.
Hey, Bud. Sorry, I'm gonna try to stop on the Bud thing.
Gotta use gender neutral.
I mean, Bud is. That's kind of why I use it. Hello, friend.
Luckily avoided the entirety of Eldrazi Winter. Same.
I did not. Eldrazi Winter was pretty terrible. Luckily, I did not yet buy all of my Eldrazi cards before they got banned, but I was in the process of buying them.
That'd be a little unfortunate. So let's talk about an interesting fact about this game. Mr. Michael Belfatto has been playing Magic for forever.
Yeah, literal forever.
And my DCI number is 12 digits. 12 digits long, so it's in the billions, I think. I think that's in the billions. And his is kind of only 6 digits, and it's barely even that.
Yeah. Yeah, it starts with like a 1, doesn't it, in the 6?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
So Belfie knows his Magic pretty well.
And he is quite the fan of foil black and red cards.
And green. He likes his green-black stuff as well.
Yeah. Yeah, he was saying when I talked to him last that the hardest thing to find in this deck was the foil Sulphur Springs. He was saying that finding a place out of those in foil was ridiculous.
I can imagine. I think they were only printed in, like, what, 10th edition?
Yeah, it was 10th edition. I believe might have been one other core set, but definitely not a lot of them.
Booked baloney. 3 months in advance. I saw the train wreck get closer than 1-4. Yeah. Ibugan can stay banned.
Yeah.
Speaking about ban lists, what does everyone think about the no changes whatsoever on Monday?
Yeah, it was kind of surprising not to see Ayabugan come off the ban list.
Oh, yeah.
I was-
100%.
I was definitely expecting that.
Or Biorhythm come off the ban list. That card, too.
I didn't actually know Biorhythm was on the ban list. Or are you talking about for Commander?
I think it's for Commander.
Yeah. Same.
Or I think it's
Same, Paul. I think that I was not surprised to see no changes, but it would be nice to see some things get mixed up. I'm kind of on the fence, though, because I've been testing for the Invitational for a little while, and I really don't want to have another drastic change right before the Invitational coming up in
Pauper
2 weeks.
staple. That's fair. Maybe they're kind of thinking about that because we also have GP season coming up,
Yeah.
and they don't want to change anything too much before then. So
Yeah, I would agree that Stoneforge Mystic could probably come off. I don't really know why it's on there. It just doesn't seem like the most powerful thing you can be doing in Modern. It seems very slow.
GSC,
Green Sun Zenith.
Green Sun Zenith, yeah. Yeah, I don't know about Green Sun Zenith, but I definitely think Stoneforge should come off personally. Because, yeah, I'm more for unbannings than bannings right now, too, honestly.
Yeah, for sure.
Because banning stuff is just going to kind of, I feel like, is going to make Modern more uninteractive right now. And unbanning stuff might make it lean a little more towards
And I feel like
interactivity.
banning stuff might have kind of a cascading effect. Because if you ban something like Faithless Looting or Ancient Stirrings, then, I don't know.
It's going to
for example,
ruin some
then-
decks.
then
Like, it makes
Humans is really
KCI...
powerful, and then you got to... Well, KCI will kind of suffer from losing Ancient Stirrings as well, but...
I mean, I'm
not
sure they'll
too
find
much.
something else, but, like, it's
Yeah.
just going to make it a lot harder.
But if you ban those two, then, say, for example, like Grixis Shadow or Humans gets more powerful, and then you got to ban something from that, and then you got to ban something from something else, and I just feel like it's a cascading effect of bannings.
That's why typically whenever they do ban stuff, you do see them ban, like, 2 or 3 things at a time.
Yeah.
Just to make sure, like, when they ban Rampaging Frostodon and
Right.
Standard, they're like, well, if we got to ban this card, we got to ban some other stuff with it to balance it out.
Yeah, Justin actually wrote an article on Top Deck yesterday, or it might have actually been today.
Yeah, it was today, I think, is when it was released.
About the banning. So if you guys have any more thoughts that you guys want to read about, you guys can go over to Top Deck and read what Justin had to say about it.
It's some very nice, very interesting opinions on it. I liked the article.
Ooh, I don't know about... I mean, I guess 3 and 1 are about the same here, but I am surprised to see him cycle away that Street Wraith. I guess he was just trying to look for a shadow. Or any threat, really. I mean, but next turn you could just cast a Street Wraith.
I think he's also not exactly scared of anything because Belfie does not have any creature lands or anything right now.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
it's just him drawing like a K command, which I imagine is in his deck. I don't really know what else spells there are, but
Yeah, or a bolt or anything.
Yeah.
Really.
any of the Eldrazi would be good enough to kill him here. Reality Smasher would be pretty key.
Red black. I imagine we have the 2 and a red one with haste for that's a 3/1. I forget what that is. It's the one that gets played in the red-green Eldrazi.
Oh, are you talking about the red one?
Yeah.
The one where you steal something? Oh, I don't remember the name of that card. Yeah, the only thing I really remember about that card is that even if you do not pay, you can still kill a Phantasmal Mudge with it. Because that happened quite a bit.
It wasn't like a change, it was Aaron Forsyth's. Yeah, I kind of have the opinion with bannings right now that, like, Justin, I think, actually mentioned this in his article, and it's like, if you put these cards that people want banned into blue, like, as cantrips, would they get banned? And the answer is obviously yes.
Right.
But at the same time, I don't think that that's how we can kind of compare, like, Ancient Stirrings, for example, because Ancient Stirrings is kind of a build-around card. Like, you have to make your deck fit that card specifically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there you go, Paul. Eldrazi Obligator. That was the one.
Yeah.
Hey, Lillian Bender. We did get Justin to play some 8-rack, but he conveniently got the bye round 1.
Yeah.
So you'll see him round 2.
All right, off to a strong start.
Right.
Good start for the EXO. Exactly. Make Blood Moon great again. Make Jon great again. Make them play Blood Moon and Rabble Master.
For owning a Legacy deck that is comprised of putting Blood Moon on the table on turn 1, I've got to play it very little, but I've got to see Justin play it quite a bit. And I will say, seeing a Blood Moon come into play turn 1 looks very powerful.
Yeah, I don't think it's as powerful in Modern as people keep wanting to think it is.
If it was on turn 1, it sure would be. But there's definitely a lot of games where it just doesn't do much in Modern.
But in Legacy, where mana bases are a lot more greedy, I feel like it's definitely.
Well, when you have, like, Grixis Delpher back in the day that wasn't playing any basic lands, you just kind of got them.
Playing, like, 8 to 10 fetch lands, some decks, and wastelands, and then only really having, like, maybe 8 actual lands, 9 actual lands. And it's just like, okay.
Yeah, we convinced Matthew to try the turn 1 Blood Moon deck in Modern. Matthew, a commentator, and he was saying it didn't go too well for it.
Yeah, he had an article, and it's almost done. He's currently writing it. And it was a little rough. We had him on stream and did not exactly go as planned.
Said he won all of the games when he was on the play. So that makes sense. All right, well, here's a 24 power worth of creature. Get him. All right, and Belfatto goes from 20 to 0.
And this is how Death Shadow wins games sometimes. Good lord.
Yeah, I definitely was not expecting Tople to come back in there. But
no, I was not either. That's something.
Yeah. This Shadow definitely allows for some catch-ups.
Dear Battle Rage is just such an absurd card.
For sure.
1 mana, 12/12. In for 24. Only have a 3/3 to block. Yikes.
Yeah, it just took him so long to find a threat. I figured that Belfatto would be able to find something to close it out, but he found a lot of lands and medium Eldrazi's.
Ban Steam Fence and Celestial Colonnade.
Get him. And Teferi. Teferi's a miserable card in Modern.
Yeah. It's even more miserable in Standard, in my opinion.
Yeah,
it's super hard to beat.
I just ulted my first Teferi in Standard the other day, and let me tell you what, if you ever ultimate a Teferi and happen to miss it out, there's nothing more powerful in the world. I felt like my opponent could do anything, and there was nothing.
I've literally been sideboarding like 2 on Mortigo just to fucking deal with Niv Mizzet. I hate that card so much. I can't actually deal with that well.
I am
if
the
it
kind
hits
of
the board.
guy that detested Teferi and said that he'd never play it. But then I was showed a really good Jeskai controllers, and it's been doing really well online. So it's one of those anime portrayals where you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. And I've definitely become the villain in my story.
If I get back into Legacy, I think I'll build that deck. Are you talking about Mono Red Prison, Paul? Because Mono Red Prison isn't really playing Legacy. It's just making sure no one else can play Legacy.
Yeah. It's just preventing everybody else from having to spend so much money on Legacy by making it so they can't play. What'd you find, Lump Lump? The coolest interaction I've seen so far in Standard is I forget the name of the card, but it is the green and black split card in Guilds of Ravnica where you can give a creature
Finality?
+1/+1 and Death Touch.
Oh.
The common, uncommon one.
Yeah.
And if you do that to a Chain Whirler, you get to just wipe
Yeah.
their board. That is pretty sweet. I got to see that happen once on Jim Davis's stream.
I mean, that's essentially what Lands was. I just wastelanded people.
Yeah, but
True.
that deck actually wins the game. That makes 20/20 and, kills your opponent.
In
It's
Mono
just
Red,
like-
you just dirtle
It
out.
just like chips in for 2 every once in a while until eventually your opponent just gets tired of their existence and falls away.
Deathbearing gives all zombies Death Touch, splash green for Carney T, because broken. Also green lets you get Rabid Bite, and Death Touch is broken. Yes.
Yeah,
Right,
those are
but-
pretty good together.
I keep seeing more and more people running one of detection beacons in their main deck
Just to be
in
able to-
Standard just to deal with Carney T, and
Yeah.
I think that's both funny and really smart.
So the best way I've gotten to deal with the Carnage Tyrant?
Hmm.
Giving my 14 power Drake lifelink and just racing. That makes it pretty easy to do. Yeah, the games where you can use Deafening Clarion to give your creatures lifelink and wipe their board.
I've been
Wow.
janking people out on Arena with a. It's similar to that stupid Infinite Polyraptor deck, and I just have a Verdant Sun avatar in it to also gain infinite life,
Nice.
and then the 2 and a white card that from M19 that gives creatures you control indestructible, so I can just give everything I have indestructible.
And how does Arena handle all of that?
Oh, I crashed the game like 3 times. It's great.
That's awesome.
No, I just let it go until I have like about 100 life, and then I'll go, all right, that's enough. And then I also have Regisar Alpha in it to give all of them haste, and that's pretty fun.
Is it a May? Can you stop it?
Yeah, it's a
whenever-
May. You can stop it.
Okay.
The damage is a May. I just go until I have enough power usually to kill them and go, okay, swing in. Get memed.
So Belfi here with another very land-heavy hand. He has a Relic out, but his 1 threat got Thoughtseized. But those are kind of just hands you keep in the mid-rangey mirrors, because you know you're going to get Thoughtseized most likely.
Yeah.
So as long as it's a sub, or at least an okay hand, pretty much just rock it.
And Relic's always just a redraw.
Yeah. Relic is one of the most obnoxious cards in Magic Online ever.
Mm. I would agree.
Yeah, Robert, you can never mold a 6 if you never mulligan.
No, I honestly don't think I ever mulligan a 7 unless against a Thoughtseize deck unless I really have to.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm used to playing humans that mulligans very aggressively. So I have mulliganed a lot this last year. A lot more than I have in pretty much any other year of playing Magic. Because humans, you pretty much just want to have a 1 or like a Thalia on the play to be able to keep your hand. Unless you're down to like 5, then you'll kind of just keep whatever that's playable.
So Opt and Thought Scour in hand. Oh, we hit an
Ugin.
Ugin.
Jeez.
What?
He's going big. Oh, I have priority. Let's get that thing. He actually didn't have priority there, but whatever. I guess players don't really care about that too much. Yeah, I mean, you got to have those 5 lands to be able to cast Ugin sometime.
What? Is an Ugin in the deck? I'm just trying to figure out, like...
I hope he also has a Dark Confidant in there.
Is his plan just to sack the creatures from the Obligator or the Eldrazi's and create, like, get Nugan on the board quicker.
Yeah, I don't know.
We got
Probably.
Fatal Push in hand. We're going to get rid of one of these Death Shadows.
You're in a class about Woodstock, Robert? That sounds
Ooh.
great.
Tople can even save this Death Shadow from, like, a Lightning Bolt because he has
Yeah.
Bolt in hand.
Can you just bolt himself? That's cute.
TKSU.
All right, well, Robert, what is
We
the
have
what is the best act at Woodstock that you've had to learn about in your class so far?
Dismember. Go to 7.
Because I've watched most of Woodstock that was at least televised. So I'm curious to see which one you like the most.
Did Tople... Yeah, I think he drew the swamp.
Yeah.
Okay. Take the redraw. Not scared about Bolt. Exile a card. Through the breach? Question mark. Show me a summoner's egg. What?
So Robert, you can't hear us at all?
Yeah. Yeah. No. He doesn't have his headphones.
Oh, that's what he's saying. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Making sure that other people can actually hear us. We haven't just been talking into the void today. Because that'd be unfortunate.
Well, that doesn't matter. This story still pissed me off. Robert got a little emotional last night with us.
Oh, yeah.
That was fun. He was a little sad.
Did he have a little bit too much to drink?
Yeah.
That sounds like Robert.
It was fine. Drew the battle rage like a god. Oh, please. Belfie, now you're dead.
Good chink.
Battle rage. Make it a
And that's the match, folks.
18, so take you to 2 and bolt ya. Well, this is what Teamer Battle Rage happens with Teamer Battle Rage, so this is pretty good. Bolt ya, and Belfie scoops it up. The guy over here was like, I don't remind my opponents of drawing a card off Thought Nuts here. I'm just like, dude, it's your trigger. Yeah, no, that's...
Yeah, that is definitely not something you can just choose to not say. That is definitely cheating if you intentionally do not tell your opponent to draw their card.
Yeah, it's like having a Howling Mine or anything like that out and
Right.
not telling your opponent. That's cheating too.
Yeah, that is your responsibility. Yeah, probably the most egregious thing I've ever heard in Modern was about Esper Charm. You ever heard the Esper Charm story?
No, I'm not.
So Esper Charm reads, you draw 2 cards, or target player discards 2 cards. So I was in an open. Player says, Esper Charm, draw 2. His opponent was like, so I guess you're targeting yourself then? He's like, yeah, I guess. So then his opponent says, well, the only mode on that card that targets is target player discards 2 cards. And since you targeted yourself, that means you have to discard 2 cards.
That's scummy. That's like...
Yeah, that was like the most scummy thing I've ever seen.
I don't know. There's also... That's kind of like... That's kind of like the mind game portion of Magic too sometimes, though. Like how LSV recently did the token trick where he was like going over here, grabbing the token, looked back at the table, was like lining up blocks. And then the guy just full out attacked, and you went, okay, sell the wreckage.
Yeah.
Instead, and the guy lost the game because of that.
Well,
so it was just...
That game was pretty much lost, even if he only attacked a little bit into settle the wreckage. But another one of those things that I'm not the biggest fan of in Magic. I'm more of Magic being like chess than I am about poker.
Yeah.
Like, I like it being skill and play, not really about, you know, getting your opponent.
Yeah, no, I think sometimes it's pretty scummy. Like, it's just... I think clear and conciseness should always be...
Right.
Like, the number one thing. Like, obviously he's not meaning to Esper Charm discard. Like, that's an obvious thing.
Yeah, so how that story ended, the opponent that was trying to be a jerk was essentially like, well, we can call a judge if you want. We can have the judge come and explain this to you. So the opponent was like, no, I'll just spell pierce it. So he spell pierced his own spell. So the scum got away. But yeah, I would have definitely called a judge if I was the player in that situation. And if any of you guys find yourself in that situation, I would definitely call a judge.
100%. Thanks, Lillian. It was some quality hair. I fixed it. It's a little better now. It's still way too long.
I've definitely heard of people doing that level 4 judge. That is definitely obnoxious that you can do that with the motes. A little better than the one that I've seen where people just slam a Teferi and then just mash good game over and over again. That is the easiest way to get someone muted if I'm ever playing or watching Arena.
Yeah. Sometimes people on Arena get salty and just tilt me.
Sometimes people on a Magic get salty.
Sometimes, yeah. Like I recently decided I wanted to play KCI on Moto, so I got it built up, and I was like, all right, should be fun. No one ever concedes to you saying, I have an infinite combo. And they go, okay, I just want to see you play it out. Okay, cool. I guess we'll just sit here.
I mean, that's kind of the thing with KCI. Like, when you exhibit the combo, then I definitely think that the opponent should concede. But there's a lot of times where it'll just sit there and draw cards for 5-10 minutes and just not... Like, it definitely has a fail rate.
Yeah, no, it does. But, like, I had Scrap Trawler, Murder Retriever, KCI, and I'm like, there's literally no way I can...
Yeah, no,
or an extra KCI, I should note that. And it's like, there's literally no way I can fail at this point. And I have 2 Mox Opals in the graveyard, and I drew into a second Scrap Trawler. It's like, definitely not going to fail at this point. Like, you're just kind of being a rude dude and
right. Yeah,
letting me run out my clock, which is again a stupid thing.
Something similar to that. I was watching Caleb Durrett play the what is the name of the deck? The one where you're using Lion's Eye Diamond essentially as a Black Lotus, and you have the guy that lets you bring it back from your graveyard for 2 mana. There's a 4-mana 1/4 that you can pay 2 mana to bring back an artifact that costs 1 or less.
Oh, Bomberman,
yeah. So he had infinite mana and a Walking Ballista, but on Moto it takes about 10 to 15 seconds just to generate 1 mana with that combo. So he was like, he had a Walking Ballista in his graveyard, and he was like, just find it. All right, I'm gonna do this a bunch, get a bunch of mana, get back my Walking Ballista, kill you. His opponent just responded in chat, enjoy executing. I was just like, what a troll.
I hate, like, I don't know. It's just, that's not going to happen in paper Magic, and that's why I really, like, kind of don't like playing online. It's like, no one's going to actually make you sit there and do it in paper Magic. For one, you can just call a judge, and it's like...
I mean, I just think it's a flaw in the programming to not have a button that lets you exhibit a loop.
Yeah.
Like, they should have a macro option to where you can designate, like, this is a loop, I'd like you to repeat this X amount of times. And that would make it so much better. Like, for things like KCI, Bomberman, or anything else, like even, like, making a bunch of mana with Devoted Druid. Like, it's just so tedious to do, and it makes it, like, essentially unbearable to practice on Magic Online.
Devoted Druid's a little easier because it has, like, you can, like, control shift or something like that to do it,
there's, like
really quick. But, like, KCI is, like, all right, I gotta, like, enable all this, and then I gotta go through this and make sure, like, I gotta click every single time. I can't just like say, if this is in the graveyard, auto pick it. Like, that's what I kind of wish it had, was like, if I'm sacking this, auto pick this in the graveyard.
Right. I mean, yeah, like you guys are saying, like, you say that it's a thing that you can do, you can make them use their clock, and that's just a part of the game. But, I mean, should it really be? Like, why are they deterred from playing a certain archetype just because Moto can't support it? It's not going to be that way if you go to an event. If you go to an open, you play against someone that's playing KCI. It's not like they're, like, at fault for doing it or anything. Like, I get that the deck's obnoxious and it does take a lot of time.
I understand it's a different game, but, like, I still personally think, like, just making someone, like, when they clearly have an infinite combo, making someone go through that infinite combo, and making someone go through an infinite combo where you are clearly dead is ridiculous. It's like, it's just ridiculous. I don't understand.
Yeah, I think all of that can just be summed up by saying that they need to have something where you can exhibit a combo. Because, I mean, that's how it works in paper Magic.
Yeah.
If you have an infinite combo, you can demonstrate the loop and say, I would like to execute this X amount of times, and you can just theoretically do that. You don't have to actually sit there in paper and move your cards around and durdle with yourself like you do in Magic Online. That's just a fault in the programming, in my opinion. No, Lantern's just like a pile of garbage.
Lantern's just one of the decks where you're dead at one point and you just have to learn to scoop to it. Like, there's just a point where you're dead.
Yeah, Lantern on Magic Online I feel like is a lot more fair because you guys each have a chess timer. Whereas in paper, a lot of times you feel like you're forced to concede before you're actually dead. Like maybe you have like a one-outer, but the game's going to take 20 more minutes.
Yeah. But, like, I don't mind going through the combo. I think I like going through the combo because it's actually kind of fun, like, to just sit there and do it. I don't know. I like goldfishing. But
I took one of Luke's cards.
It's still just, like, at some point, it's like, okay, if I lose this match because I run out of clock, it's kind of ridiculous when I literally have the infinite combo going. Like, that's when I get mad, but I haven't had that happen to me yet, thankfully. Because Moto is, like, at least sleek enough to where you can do it pretty quickly. Like, it only takes me, like, maybe 5 minutes to go through the loop and, like, actually get it going or get it all, like, done.
Harrison, I know that Luke is playing with Dragon Shield Gold. I'm not 100% sure what sleeves Mark is using, but they look like Dragon Shield as well to me. I think those are the Dragon Shield Crimson. But I'm not sure. I know for sure that Luke's playing the Dragon Shield Gold because I just helped him re-sleeve his deck.
And Luke has just recently started playing Magic again, hasn't he? Because I don't think I've seen him around in a while.
No, he's been playing to the store a decent amount. He gets to come out like once or twice a week. Come January, he's going to be able to play in competitive events again. He's going to be playing in the Team Open with Justin and I.
Yeah, fun.
So that'll be cool.
The Team Unified Modern.
Team Non-Unified.
Or Team Non-Unified, that's right.
Yeah, which is very weird, but I'm fine with it. Means that Luke and I can both play some Horizon Canopies.
Only time I didn't scoop, that was in the top 8 of a PPTQ. I want to get more information on my opponent's deck.
And if it's in the top 8 of a PPTQ, wouldn't you be getting deck lists?
Yeah. Where's Kindergarten Lantern? That's not wrong. It's just a more simplified Lantern.
I like the War version more, in my opinion, because Psy is really powerful, and lets you win a lot of games you wouldn't be able to.
It's different with other infinite combos like Splinter Twin. It's easy to see, comprehend the combo. That's fair. But I don't think the infinite combo with KCI is honestly that hard to like see. It's a Scrap Trawler trigger gets back a 2-mana. So you play a KCI, you play a Scrap Trawler, you sack Scrap Trawler, you get a 1-mana artifact back with the Scrap Trawler or with the Scrap Trawler trigger on the Murder Retriever. Then you. Or wait, sorry. I'm messing up my words.
See, he can't even say it.
I can't even say it right. No, that's just because I'm bad at words and I'm bad at explaining things. So you have Scrap Trawler, KCI, Murder Retriever. You sack Murder Retriever. You with the Scrap Trawler trigger, you get back a 1-mana artifact. With the Murder Retriever trigger, you get back a KCI. And that's basically your infinite loop there. But you instead replace it with a Mox Opal, and that generates you infinite mana.
I actually conveniently have like a very short Ironworks primer pulled up on my phone that I was reading earlier. So if you just want to read this out to the class, it's only a 67-page Ironworks primer. Jeez. Going over everything you can ever think of in the deck.
Yeah, there's a lot more than that, but that's like the simplest combo you can do in the deck. Like, I will say, the overpaying for mana costs is one of the more complicated things to comprehend in the deck. Because that is basically kind of just abusing Magic's rules. So it's really, really hard to like actually comprehend for some people.
Lillian, we'll be having Justin on as soon as we can. He conveniently got the bye round 1, so we'll be having him on for round 2, but we still got a little bit longer for this match to go.
Addicted to Mints, yeah, that's basically what most people are hoping for, is either a mess up or a misclick or just for you to run out of time, which, like I said again, thankfully Magic Online is like streamlined enough to where that doesn't happen a lot. Overhang with mana abilities should change. That requires like a lot of rewriting in the rules, and I don't know if they would do that. It's just super weird for them to do that.
Yeah,
Because that's just been
very
like
odd thing.
I get they can, but I don't know. Maybe that's how people who felt when they changed the legend rules, I
Yeah.
guess.
Or maybe like with mana burn or something.
Or with mana burn. But
I'm
that's
glad to
just
have never lived in a time of mana burn. That just sounds awful.
yeah, same.
I mean, just recently they did errata the game rules for Convoke. It used to be with Convoke that you could overpay with your creatures, but they made it now because of Venerated locks it on that you can only pay the appropriate amount. So it just goes to show if they want to make the change, they can. But it's just whether or not they want to.
That's more of a change to a mechanic though than to a
Yeah,
actual game rule,
that's true.
I guess.
It's just kind of in the same vein of paying for mana.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess it is more of just a mechanic.
More like streamlining a mechanic than changing game rule. Same with Sunburst. What do you mean with same with Sunburst?
Yeah, Cadnabis, they were talking about errating the game rules to make it so that you can't overpay and make it so that the Ironworks combo does not work the way it does. So you can't sacrifice a sphere to its mana ability and then pay 8 mana into it or attempt to pay 8 mana for it. But that's just kind of how it goes. Yeah. I
Overpaying?
think that what they're saying with Sunburst is, so if you have an engineered explosives that you one-on-one, but there's a Thalia out, you can say that, or you can pay like 2 green mana for it, and it still comes in with 1 counter. I think that's what they're referring to.
I don't, like, I think that's just kind of what you need because sometimes, like, Thalia can stop. My favorite thing about Thalia is it can just stop engineered explosives on 0. And that's, like, kind of detrimental if you're playing, like, Death and Taxes. Sometimes. So, that's my opinion on it, is, like, it's good. I think that the overpaying, or the way Sunburst works is, like, perfectly fine.
Hey, Paul, I got a question for you. You say you like your cards in English, but weren't you the one that was a big proponent of the Japanese pre-release swamps? Like, I get that having cards in English is cool, but if you see that Horizon Canopy that Luke has in person, gosh, that thing is gorgeous. That German foil Horizon Canopy is just like, ugh.
Oh, it's like German foil?
Yeah.
That's pretty.
Sick Daddy, I do not think that we have any Amulet players here tonight, at least not that I saw. Nobody at the store is sadistic enough to really play the deck besides me. At least myself.
Give me the deck and I'll play it.
Billy Camino, so the only ones that I know that play it here. The deck is actually a lot of fun. I really enjoyed the deck.
We were trying to goldfish it back here when you gave it to Robert, and we were like, nope, can't goldfish this on stream. This deck requires way too much thinking. It's like, okay, so I can't just double strike this turn, so I'm best off getting a blue land and bounce in a Teleria West to bounce it and go get a pact. And it's like, okay, I'm gonna do that.
It's just a very toolboxy card, like a very toolboxy deck. Like I feel like you can kind of just win from anywhere. Yeah, Robert, that is pretty cool. I haven't actually done that before.
Yeah, no, like stuff like that, and like being able to like, what else? Someone else was talking about it earlier. Like, the only thing I don't like about engineer explosives is I think you should have to clearly announce what the sunburst on it is going to be, because I was talking with someone earlier. Who was I just talking with? And David, and he was talking about how he tapped 2 Darksteel Citadels and a Grove of the Burn Willows. The Grove of the Burn Willows for colored mana, and did it. He said X equals 3. The opponent let it resolve. It came in with 1 counter. The opponent was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! That's not how that works." You said X equals 3, and he was like, "Yes, X was equal to 3, but my sunburst is only equal to 1." So I think that's something that might need to be like
Once
kinda
again, that's part of
fixed.
the communication errors I was saying with
Mm.
Magic. Like, all of these small things in Magic can just be fixed if you and your opponent just communicate properly.
Mm.
I mean, technically, I think that is how you can, say that with. Yeah, I believe that is technically how you can announce it, paying for an engineer explosives, but I guess it would have been on the opponent to ask how many colors he paid into it.
Well, his thought process behind it was, oh, I'm tapping 2 Darksteel Citadels, which can only tap for colorless, and then this, and I said you gained a life off of
Yeah.
Grove of the Burn Willows, so it's clear that I'm tapping it for colored.
Yeah, I'm actually curious to hear Scott's opinion on that and how that would actually work out. This game does not look very close for Mark. He's going to need a lot to go right for him to catch back up here. Because Luke has a Coco in hand and a Worship as well.
You have to announce the colors used, otherwise it's CPV, and it's never CPV.
What is CPV?
Yeah, it's CPV. I actually have no clue what that is. Speaking of gold fishing, Mountain, Foothills, Cinderglade, Arbor Elf, Blood Moon, Obstinate Baloth, Storm Breath. Is this... What is this deck?
Ponza.
Is this Ponza? Oh, yeah, it's Storm Breath. I forgot.
Yeah, no, that
Ponza
just
plays
seems like a
Storm Breath.
snap keep. Turn
Yeah,
2 Blood Moon sounds nice. Turn 2 Blood Moon and then turn 3 Obstinate Baloth. Turn 4 Stormbreath Dragon. Yeah, sweet.
Yeah.
Communication policy violation. Okay, I haven't actually... okay. I have never heard that before. But I am actually really curious to know if that's how you were supposed to resolve that as players. And where the line is between trying to get your opponent and announcing what you're doing clearly. I'm the kind of player that no matter what, like, I'll tell my opponent what is happening, because...
That was not a very good Coco. All right.
I mean, it hit 2 creatures, so it's
okay.
fine. It hit
Never
another
mind.
Lord.
I didn't see the
Yeah,
Mausoleum
Mark's just
Wander.
dead.
I saw
That's
2 Cocos
The
and
4th Lord.
3 lands.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
How do you win?
Luke's just got to show him that worship.
What are you talking about? Buff money? How does who win? How does Lump Lump win with that Storm Breath Dragon hand? Or...
Maybe he's talking about Mark. How does Mark ever win? Who knows?